I have an alarm set so that I can get out of here on time. I've got an appointment later and a bit of a drive. Where's my lid? There it is. I've got an appointment. Actually, I've got a couple of appointments, so I've got a busy day. And neither of them are, you know, super duper important. Well, I mean, one of them is. But, you know, I'm getting my nails done. I get my nails done every 3 weeks. And I don't go for any confected looks, really. I like them very basic, so I don't pay attention to them. I'm a nail biter. I have been my whole life since I was a little child. And my mom used to put that bitter tasting nail polish on. It didn't matter. I would still bite my nails. It was, oh, sorry, my microphone just got stuck to my watch. Okay. Sorry, that was just Milani Skin Quench primer I just put on my face. I'm going to add a little bit of the Herborian CC cream. Nothing too dramatic today. Anyway, there's another little salon in town that I thought, well, I'll try these guys and see if they can help me out. Because I'd been watching some YouTube nail techs, and they were talking about builder gel. And I thought, well, builder gel sounds great. It's just a super strong top coat. You know, it's a gel polish, but it's an extra strong one. It's supposed to be used to build a bond between a false nail and your real nail, and it's a bridge between them. But I thought, can I just get my whole nail in that? And then it'd be really strong, so I shouldn't bite through them. And then they would hopefully, you know, keep my nail strong while I'm trying to grow them out. And when you've got a lifelong nail biting problem, growing out your nails is not an easy thing of just don't bite them and they'll grow out. I mean, yeah, in the long run it is, but I have to regrow the nail beds. I have to regrow the sides of my nail so that the nail sits in there. So there were several months where the nail was growing, but I mean, there was lift on the side because there was no nail bed for the nail to grow through. So I've had to not just grow the nail, but regrow the whole support system around that nail. And that took about a year. And I'm so happy with this nail salon because I went in there and I said, look, this is my problem. This is what I want to fix. I don't want all the extra stuff. I don't want my nails ground to the actual nail, right? Just, I want my nails to heal. And they were very understanding and on my side as far as that. And my nail health was a priority for them. So they are amazing. That's just the Herborian. I don't think it did much for the yellow, but it kind of got the red off anyway. Now I'm just going to find my mirror. Just realized I meant to put my colored contacts in and forgot, so I'm going to do that right now. I don't think anybody wants to watch that because that can sometimes just be a half an hour of watching me fail, so I'll be right back with different eyes. I keep dropping it. I keep dropping it, and then I have to put it in the little thingy, give it a wash. That's been done. That's been done. This is the Azure, I think they're Azure Blue by Dimple Colors. Excuse me. The other day I was in the pharmacy and I picked up, because it was half price, this little palette called the Player Palette. And they came out with a whole series of these palettes in 2010, I think, if I remember correctly. I did some research on it because I was a bit like, so I've been looking at that one off and on for a couple of years, and I thought, you know, I like the colors, but the pans are really small, and I didn't know if it was worth it. And I think full price, it's about 26 Australian dollars. And when I say small, like that's my pinky. You know, you can see those are very small palettes. And I didn't know that it was actually value for money for, you know, a drugstore product. For a drugstore product. And I thought, well, half price, $13, I'll totally get it. That's a little bit more. That's a little bit more reasonable. And I got it home and I was doing little swatches, just little tiny swatches. And I was like, there's something very familiar about this palette. What is it? What is it? And I don't have a vast collection. But last year I did buy this that's the Melt Bride of Frankenstein palette. And oh, who stuck a finger in it? Oh no. That is the Bride of Frankenstein palette. And it's not an exact look, right? But you put them together, you've got that green, you've got an assortment of warms, and this one just has that blue in it. So this one's just got, you know, 4 cool, 4 warm. I thought, I see why I was enjoying it. I'm gonna use these together and make a little look, and then I have to go. So got my nails getting done this morning. And then the second appointment that I've got this afternoon is I am touching base with my counselor, who I had seen again back in 22. I was having a really hard time with anxiety, and I'd been struggling to get a job, and it was just a really hard time, and I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't feel in control of my thoughts, and not in a schizophrenic way, but I have, you know, that inner voice problem. This is very common with ADHD people, where, sorry, I'm just going into that lightest shade of the Player Palette, where, you know, I have a fairly abusive voice in my head that tells me, you know, that was stupid. Why'd you do that? That was not the right thing to do. You can't be doing that. You know, you're a terrible mother. You're a terrible wife. You don't have any friends. On and on and on. And I just thought, I can't live like this anymore. This is just out of control. I had never had that volume, that level of constant negativity in my own head before. And it's hard, you know, it's hard to turn it off. And I didn't know how to turn it off. And if you don't know how to turn it off and you're just under the barrage of that all the time, you know, it takes a toll. It's one of the first things they always ask at the start of every meeting is, you know, have you had any, you know, thoughts of harming yourself? And it's like, no. Others sometimes when they annoy me, but not myself. As a joke, I am a pacifist. I'm a pacifist who's well trained in self-defense, but a pacifist nonetheless. Now, what set me off, turns out, one, I had undiagnosed ADHD. I was diagnosed at 50, so this is year 3 now that I've had that diagnosis. I was 50 years old when I was diagnosed with ADHD, inattentive type. And I'm the one that edits these videos, and I had not really witnessed some of the symptoms, that's not right, the word, yeah, I guess, of that type, where I would be doing something and then all of a sudden I just fugue out. I just kind of go somewhere and I'm like, hello, where are you? Where'd you come back? And I think, my God, my husband, my kids, you know, they've been with me my whole life. Sorry, I'm just in this dark brown shade here. And they've lived with that. That must be very, you know, fairly common for them to witness. Ooh, we're very patchy, aren't we? Me just kind of daydreaming. Or I don't even know if I'm daydreaming. Sometimes there's nothing. It's like silent zone. I just needed to kind of go to the quiet plane. And sometimes it's a thought. And then there's other times where I am acting out conversations that I've had, and I'm one voice and I'm reacting to the other. And I think that's actually more common than people want to admit, because there's, you know, I was always told, don't talk out loud, right? You know, like when you're kids and you're playing with your toys and your dolls and you make up all the noises and the voices and the little stories, you know, that's all very normal. But it was like, once you started to get older, you're not allowed to do that anymore because you're a grown-up. But we all, I think a lot of us, I won't say we all do that, but many of us will act out conversations. We will practice. We will prepare ourselves if certain conversations or comments or things come back to us, and it was like, I'm going to have a ready response for that next time. I sure do that. I've learned that a lot of professional people who speak to large groups do that on a regular basis. They will stand and they will have their conversations out loud and they will practice what they're going to say, try and practice reacting to comments that they anticipate. You can't anticipate everything, but you know, practicing an open and listening demeanor. These are life skills that, you know, as children we were doing with toys and friends and others. And some of us were told, stop doing that, people will think you're crazy. Don't talk to yourself. Don't talk to yourself out loud. If you need to do that, keep it in here. Well, you tell an inattentive type to do that, and all of a sudden, all those voices are just in there all the time. Oh, that's why I always say, I'm being mean to myself. And I haven't seen them for a couple of years. I haven't needed to. And, you know, I got my ADHD diagnosis. The other thing that was happening was perimenopause. Perimenopause did amplify the ADHD to a level that it wasn't something I could control with caffeine, or I didn't take drugs. I've never been a drug user. I'm terrified. I'm a big old wimp. Mostly it was caffeine. Yeah, I would take no-dose and copious amounts of espressos and caffeine, which is not a solution. Yeah, Red Bulls, things like that. And that's not an answer. I needed a good mid-tone, but this one only has like a goldy sparkle or a bronzy sparkle, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to dip over into the Melt palette, which has this more, this is a matte sandy shade, which will be just right. So the two together, the perimenopause. So I started on hormone replacement therapy, and that shut that voice right up. But the two together, the ADHD stimulant medication and the HRT, fixed it to where I felt in control and I wasn't constantly having this negativity in my mind, knocking me back, sapping all of my confidence. So the combination of the HRT and the ADHD together were, I felt like me again. I felt like me again. I could, and I was even better. I wasn't as reactive. I was sometimes a very reactive person, and I have, what's the other thing, that rejection hypersensitivity. It's not, I don't know, I think they call it a syndrome. I don't know. But yes, very, very sensitive to rejection, you know, to where I don't often initiate friend meetups and things like that, because I just assume everybody's busy. Everybody's busy. They've got their things. So I don't have a lot of, you know, enduring friendships. And the few friends that I have who know about this and know this about me, they don't care. They're just like, you know, we're going to do these things. And I've got one amazing friend who routinely tries to get me involved in some group activities with other lovely, lovely people. And I think without her, I would be, you know, more isolated. But I also don't notice the passing of time very well. So I do have time blindness. Speaking of which, I've got 15 minutes. I could go 6 months without calling somebody or talking to somebody, and they're probably mad, thinking, oh, she's, you know, ghosted me, she's ditched me. And to me, I only saw you last week. It was very recent. I don't know what you mean. It wasn't really that long ago, was it? It was just last week. But it wasn't. It was months and months ago. I went to the US in 2014 with my bestie, my friend. I don't like using the term best friends. It feels like a competition. I don't like to say that, but that's just like the vernacular that's used. My closest friend, the two of us, we toured up Boston and New York together. 2014, and I met up with some old high school friends who I hadn't seen. It was lovely. It was very, very nice meeting up with them. All of us had changed and grown up, and it was good to see. But to me, that was only last year, 2 years ago. It was 11 years ago. I have to keep trying to remind myself of this. Yeah, that's math. I have to keep reminding myself that was 11 years ago. I just thought, how much have I missed? I've missed so much because I don't acknowledge or recognize the passage of time. I still have moments where I go, oh, I haven't called mom. I haven't called my mom. No, I haven't called my mom. She died in 2015. I'm not calling mom. I'm not calling mom. But that thought bubble is like, oh my God, I haven't talked to mom in ages. She's probably pissed. She's definitely not pissed. She doesn't mind at all. Green on the inside, blue on the out. Yeah, I'll do that. So I'm going to use let's see what the player green does. I'm just tapping into that darkest blue here in the player palette to see what it does. Sorry, I'm just going to dip back into this one. And look, I stuck my finger in that one. That one. Does that one actually change color? I think it does. That green, I think it turns bluish. Oh, let's see what happened. Darn, how do I do that? It does. It's like a peacock shade. Okay, well, I'm going to play a little bit in that and just merge these two together with that shade. Let's do that. And just tap back in with that green just to brighten up that corner. Actually, do I want to try the other green? What are you thinking anyway? I don't think it's too bad. Oh, apparently I've got 5 minutes. I don't think I'm going to make it. So the melt green in the middle is definitely brighter than that one. So maybe I'll just pop that in the corner here and up in the inside eye. Oh, yes. Oh, I like that much. That's good. Yes, yes, yes. I don't usually like a sparkle, but this is a light satin, if you can see. Now, not too happy with that blend, and that's the Revlon palette, not the melt one. I might just try and add the darkest one in the melt palette, that rusty brown. Just put that back into the outer edge. All right, so that's what I've got today. A little pampering, and then probably a little trauma dumping and a little crying. I'm just going to go back to that Revlon Player Palette. And this has that icy blue. I might just take a touch of that just here. Yeah, that doesn't want to touch. That doesn't want to do anything. Right, I don't have time to play with you. What's this one? This is a ColourPop one. Is this Prance? I think this is called Prance. I don't know, it's that pale blue one that's really awesome. Oh, that's my alarm. All right, I'll just quickly pop off, finish, and then I'll say goodbye. There was quite a bit of fallout with that, and I don't know who the victim was. I'm the victim. Who the perpetrator was more. It's because these colors are also similar. So if you happen to see who did it, you can let me know in the comments. Not the best, not the worst. Yeah, the player palettes. Bit meh. The melt palette's always very good. There's a lot going on there. I think I'll come back later. I'll do another one and I will talk about all the fun we had at the spa for our 30th wedding anniversary. Married for 30 years on the 23rd. That was very cool. Gosh, these just we're just gonna say it's grungy. It's grungy. When they don't want to mix in so well. Right? Isn't that how we're using the word grungy now? I think that's what grungy means now. It certainly doesn't mean early 90s. No, it certainly doesn't mean, you know, flannels, Seattle music, coffee denims and letting yourself be a bit scruffy. It seems to have morphed into something different than what I knew as grunge. Oh, sorry, did I say what that was? Sorry, that's just the lifter stick. I think that's number 20. I have ordered the lighter one. That should be coming. It's currently half price at Chemist Warehouse. So I liked it enough, and I thought I'm going to get that. Oh, yeah. How did my no spend in September go? Dreadful. Dreadful. Did I have any self-control? Not much. Nope, not at all. Not at all. Now, has that fixed the yellow under my eyes? It's done a very admirable job. A very admirable job. Less sallow for sure. Let's fix up around that mouth where I also looked a bit sallow. That's just a Real Techniques little stubby thing. It was in my makeup bag from when I went away. And this is great for travel. Oh, that just looks so, it's like such a dark, harsh line. I'm not used to such a dark, harsh line. I want to curve it, not make it look so much like a butterfly wing. Anyway, I don't have time to fix it. I'm just going to have to say it was intentional. I'm just going to use this Clinique Black Honey mascara. I bought the Black Honey mascara. Why not? You know, but I have to use it. Otherwise it's going to go off and then it'll be a waste of money. I will show one thing, and I can't remember whose video I saw that gave me this idea. Anyway, it was an art student who was talking about how they do their underpainting with makeup, how they learn to do it with paint, oil paints, doing portraits. And their ideas of underpainting were very different from a lot of the other ones. Like they have a lot of discoloration under their eye that they then just take a sweep of like that green, that sparkly green, and just sweep that under their whole eye and then do a whole look on top of it. And you're looking at the color wheel, you're thinking about what your contrasts are. Well, I've been coming up with this bright yellow up here, and I thought, well, purple would be the thing to counter that. What do I have that's purple? I'm not underpainting. I thought, let's just see what it does. And I know I have this Clinique, is it Color Pop? No, it's not Color Pop. Pansy Pop. Clinique Cheek Pop Blush Pop. That's it. It's a lot of pops in this color. And I bought it because it was on sale and everybody was like, oh, lavender, this and that and the other thing. Anyhow, I tried it just to brighten under here because I don't have the ube cream, ube powder or anything. I think it did a really good job. Look at it. It's subtle. It has the very faintest sheen. And then around my jowl lines. Now, when I'm looking at my mirror, I hardly see it, but when I look in this, that yellow is definitely diminished. But it don't look like I've got purple under eye. Do I need anything else? Look, that's so happy looking. Nah, okay, I don't actually have time. I have to go. Legit, it's now 1:15. So, thank you so much. I will see you again, and I hope you like this mini drama. It might be all cried off later. We'll see. And I'll come back later and I'll talk about what happened at the spa. It was a fun time at the spa. And I'll explain it. And I will say spa in a very strange way because I'm a strange person who likes to say words in a weird way. So thank you for your company. I'm Livy. Let you know how everything goes. I have the hardest time with goodbyes. I don't do goodbyes very well. So this is the most awkward I will ever be in the videos. I'm very confident in all the rest of it. Well, mildly confident in the rest of it so far. The goodbyes are the hardest part. You have yourself a fantastic day. Bye.